Okay, since this is a hearing, I assume I can ask questions. If you choose to answer, that would be great, because it's not under the usual rules. First thing I want to announce to the community that the council is proposing, as Rudy said, a rate increase. What this means is whatever rate we're going to pay in future years, as the EAVs of our homes go up, this rate, the actual amount that the taxpayers pay, could go up significantly. The amount we're talking about here, the .625, doesn't seem so bad, but perhaps, or .70, as our city manager is going to advocate here shortly based on the news conference he had last week. So keep that in mind. This is a rate, not a dollar amount. So the rates will go up as the EAVs go up in future years. I want to find out, first off, perhaps one of the members of city staff or council can explain this. The monies that are raised in the TIF districts as a result of the tax rate increase, will those monies be going exclusively to these pension funds, or will they be going into TIF funds? Because the rates are going to go up, I assume, across the board. So can we perhaps get an answer on that?
The tax rate as it relates to the non-TIF EAV in our community would go just toward pension funds. Mm-hmm. The tax rate as it relates to the TIF portion of our EAV will go into the TIF fund.
So there will be monies going into the TIF fund as a result of this increase, is what you're telling me?
The TIF portion of the EAV.
The TIF portion of the EAV. So we're talking about more skating rinks, pedestrian pass-throughs, and what have you. All right, keep that in mind, people. We don't need any more of that stuff. Now, the mayor did suggest at the last council meeting that if anybody has any good suggestions of things we can do to reduce our spending so we don't have to increase property taxes, I thought I would put in my 2 cents here this evening. Number one, here's a great idea. Issue a moratorium on all land acquisitions, starting with selling off land owned by the city. I brought this proposal to our council chambers on many occasions in the past when we were talking about the budget from last year. This was also recently suggested by 4th Ward Alderman Brendan Gallagher. These properties could be purchased by private businesses. The land would go back on the tax rolls. It's a win-win situation. There is a lot of land owned by the city. Instead of the city buying more land, let's sell off some of the land that we have here. Get rid of city employee magazine subscriptions, lunch allowances, uniforms for people in positions that are not public safety related, and other unnecessary expenses. Slash car allowances for city administrators and the city manager. Why do they need these car allowances here? This is ridiculous. Immediately eliminate the post-retirement, or post-employment, I should say, health care premiums in their entirety. I know you're going to be discussing that later, as was recommended by the taxpayer-funded consultant report, otherwise known as the EPI report. No more taxpayer-funded cell phones for city employees, with the exception of emergency personnel. These costs are getting out of control. Discontinue taxpayer-funded health care for aldermen and the mayor. These are part-time jobs, not necessary. And that's, quick note here, we did mention Sycamore. Sycamore's rate's actually going down, 58 to 57 cents per $100 EAV. If Sycamore can do it, why can't we? DeKalb's going to be a less attractive community if our tax rate is 70 cents per 100 EAV, as the city manager will propose here shortly, as opposed to 57 cents for Sycamore, putting our housing at a very uncompetitive, at disadvantage, I should say, a disadvantage to Sycamore. So please keep that in mind. Spending cuts first before you raise my taxes. Thank you.
Anyone else like to